Hi, I'm Pete Seligman. Welcome to the next season of our podcast, Measure Up with SRO Technology. In this season, we'll delve further into the world of measurement, and I'll introduce you to the rest of the management team here at SRO. We're really passionate about industrial measurement, and we service customers across the food and beverage all the way to the mining and resources sector. Let's get stuck into this next season. Today I sat down with Darren Matuku. He's the manager of our instrumentation division. He actually comes from New Zealand, so he's got a really interesting background, grew up in a small town, and then made his way into the oil and gas sector as an instrumentation technician. After moving to Australia, he then joined us only a few months ago and is starting to really build out our instrumentation capability across the East Coast and looking for great opportunities to expand that across a range of different industries. The interesting part about our instrumentation division is that we have probably the broadest set of industry verticals, all the way from pharmaceuticals down to the mining sector. Darren also has a young family and spends a lot of time playing with his kids and trying to make sure that we get that work-life balance right. So I enjoyed sitting down with Darren today. I hope you do too. Thanks for being our guinea pig for season number 2, Darren. How are you feeling? You sitting there, you relaxed?
I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go, you know.
Yeah.
It's a new thing for me to do this, but yeah, pushing ourselves outside our comfort zone is how we improve as a person. So looking forward to see how it goes.
Yeah, awesome. So how long have you been with SRO now? You're relatively new.
Just over 5 months. Came to the business in September 2024. Yeah, so yeah, it's just over 5 months now.
Feeling like you're part of the furniture yet, or are you still kind of making your way around?
A bit of both. Sometimes I feel like I've been here for a long time, and then sometimes it feels like a short time. But I always got to remember that, you know, no matter how I feel, I've got a supportive team around me to get through those times as well.
Yeah. Because you've got an existing established team that you're now kind of getting to know and learning how to work with those guys and kind of where their strengths and weaknesses are and how you can support best. Like, how have you found that experience over the last few months, like trying to sit into that role and be as, as useful to them as you can be?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Coming as an outsider into the business, sometimes people see it as a bit of a threat, but the transition into this business has been quite smooth. So, we've had the previous 2 instrumentation managers move up in the business or into different roles. So Dave Steele started the instrumentation business back in 2021, from what I believe, and then Jaden Wright took over, which is now operations manager. So to have this support moving into this role has been great. And then having the guys underneath me really welcome me in open arms as well. I run things a bit different to previous managers, and that's, we all have our own strengths and weaknesses, but overall, we're in a good place moving forward. We've really got a really strong team, technically wise, and yeah, we're ready to take on a lot more work. So we're in a good place, but we're ready for growth.
Awesome. Fantastic. So stepping back a bit, tell us a bit about you, a bit about your background. Like, where did things start from you? I noticed a slight twang in the accent, so probably not from Australia. Tell us a bit about your background.
So yeah, for people who don't know me, my name's Darren Matuku, and I grew up in a small town of Itanui in Taranaki, New Zealand, big oil and gas region there. So naturally, I moved into the apprenticeship after school of electrical and instrumentation. So got my start through applying for apprenticeship like everyone else does. Just sort of try my luck, and then the next minute I got the phone call to come in for an interview. Interview went well, and the next step was to actually get the job. So from there, I completed my apprenticeship, spent an extra 2 years with the company, and then I moved on to Australia. So I moved to Australia in 2011. Moved over for a holiday and just didn't go home like most Kiwis do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Moved over for a short time and ended up staying for a long time.
Yeah,
great.
Australia's been home for me for 14 years now, so I've really loved the world over here. Still love everything about New Zealand, but yeah, it's just my current life is here in Australia.
Tell us a bit about your hometown in New Zealand.
It's a beautiful place. So you can surf and snow on the same day. So not many regions can say that. It's a very small town. Yeah, it's one of those feels like everyone knows everyone else, and it's really a good, humble town. Love to move back there someday, but my current plan is to stay in Brisbane with my family.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And as a proud Kiwi, you obviously follow the rugby a fair bit.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm probably passionate All Blacks fan growing up and all that kind of stuff. You know, when the Wallabies were playing here, it's all quite tense in the office. But yeah, you know, it's all good human banter. So yeah, it's good.
Fantastic. So, like, what's your kind of take on, you've moved through few different roles in your career, and you've obviously kind of had exposure to a few different industries and the different kind of sectors within the kind of mining and extraction industries. What's your take on kind of the current customer base that you're servicing in SRO, and kind of what are the issues that they face most often that you and your team are trying to solve?
Yeah. So for myself, when I moved to Australia, I continued in the oil and gas field. So I've got 10 years experience in the oil and gas field and 7 in the water treatment industry. So our current client base is predominantly mining in New South Wales, and in Queensland we've got a range of customers. So we've got a range of customers from mining to pharmaceutical to food and bev. So we're open to all industries, not one size fits all, but we would like to fit it all.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the interesting things when I think about SRO as a whole business. There are some parts of our business that are very focused on, say, the mining sector, or even down into kind of coal mining, for example. Instrumentation, our team in instrumentation probably has one of the broadest applications from an industry vertical perspective. You know, so on one day they might be going to a coal mine or some other kind of extraction. Then the other day they might be going to pharmaceuticals, which is a very different environment. You know, going to a lab or a pharmaceutical production facility is very different going to a mine site. How do you find the team adapts to, you know, addressing that broad spread of customer base?
So through our team, we have a number of range of experiences. So we've also, in our management team, we've actually got 5 to 6 instrument techs as well. So across the board, we cover it pretty well. If there's something that we haven't seen in our own team, the management team have most likely seen it. So for example, our general manager, Dave Steele, is an instrumentation tech. Our operation manager, Jaden Rowe, is an instrument tech. Our salesman, Dan Thorpe, is an instrument tech. So yeah, I could go through one of our chief technology officer, Matt, has a PhD in instrumentation. So we have a lot of coverage around different applications and different experience in different industries. So we're ready to go into whatever field we need to. So instrumentation is always going to be instrumentation, just matter on the application. So yeah, we're looking good across all boards at this stage.
And do you think that customers in all those different verticals, when you boil it down, actually have a similar set of issues and a similar set of kind of outcomes they're trying to achieve? Do you know what I mean? Like whether you're sitting in a lab or you're sitting in kind of a food manufacturing or food and bev, you know, customer, or you're over in a mine site, is the customer ultimately looking for the same outcome from you and your team?
Correct. So they're looking to measure something and then control that measurement. So they're trying to control it. They could be trying to control flow, level, temperature, pressure, depends on the application. So they're looking to control a certain variable to help with their process operations. So one of the biggest things I explain to my team and everyone else in the business, we look at the instrumentation piece, but we look at the whole process about how can our part in the process make the overall process better. So we're always looking to improve. We always suggest to customers, this is your current setup, this is what we think you should do, but here's an alternative as well. So we give the customer the option to go, these are your choices, it's up to you how you proceed. So every in the customer is different, every application is different, but there is very similarities across the multiple industries.
Can you think of an example of one of the kind of most interesting applications or interesting sites or customer operations that you've been to in your career across the board, not just with SRO, but like a time when you went out to a customer, you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting to see that, or this was a really interesting and unique application?
I guess a lot of applications now, you know, instrumentation in certain industries have been poorly maintained. So a lot of the water treatment sites are, you know, aging to that 10-year, 20-year mark now, where there hasn't been a lot of focus on the infrastructure. So they're all of quite a good long-term age. So when they're looking to upgrade the instrumentation or complete the instrumentation maintenance, they look for the cheapest solution just to get them by. It's always a Band-Aid solution. So we always try and suggest to the customer within their budget, an alternative method, an alternative option, because one time, you know, you can lose a piece of equipment and that could be your whole process down. There's no room for redundancies in the water treatment industry. But like a lot of companies now are looking at redundancy, having 2 instruments on site, like one in the process and one in the critical spares. So yeah, it's an interesting time.
What's the biggest site operation that you've had to be on?
In terms of being at SRO, it's definitely Hunter Valley operations. That's definitely was a real eye-opener for me, how big it is and how much there is to the whole process, from all the way from the underground process all the way through to the coal grain on the train to the port. So there's a number of instrumentation equipment across that plant, and our team is really across that. They do really well to support HVAC during that. Through another process, previously at another company, coal seam gas, so extracting coal seam gas out of the ground all the way to Gladstone as well. So number of instrumentation along that line, commissioning, compression plants, gas wells, skids, all that kind of stuff. So I've done a lot in my career in terms of that stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, and when you were back in New Zealand, what were the kind of typical operations or kind of industries that you were working in over there? Like what part of, because I know that in New Zealand they've got, a range of different kind of precious metals through to other things, and also kind of extraction industries, but also a lot of ag. Like what were the sectors you were working in when you were over in New Zealand?
Just oil and gas, so onshore and offshore. So Taranaki is quite a regional place where a lot of offshore oil rigs have been done in the past. That is coming to an end, but environmental licenses and all that coming to an end, so they're renewing them all now. There's a lot of extraction to be done there.
The offshore stuff I find really interesting. Like you must have had some pretty extreme situations trying to get access to those offshore sites, right?
Yeah, so it's a helicopter ride. It's about a 40-minute helicopter ride from the airport from New Plymouth to the offshore rig. So we've had some interesting experiences.
Bit of weather,
wind. You feel like you're kind of in a plastic hub as such.
Yeah.
But I've never had. I don't have any safety concerns. Like I've never had any safety concerns whatsoever. Like you do feel a certain way, but you've got a lot of experience around you to get you through these periods.
Yeah. What's you've been with us for a few months now. You're getting your feet under the desk, you're getting your hands around the team, and working out kind of where the strengths and weaknesses are and what the opportunities look like. What's most exciting for you in the next, say, 12 to 18 months in terms of the opportunity you've got?
So, focusing on our current customer base. One of the things is, with change of management, that can drop, and we need to make sure that we're keeping a consistent customer relationship across moving forward into a new manager. Looking to diverse a lot more into different industries. Like I said, we're open for business. If you've got an instrumentation on your site, we want to come and help you out and service you.
Yeah.
So in the long term, I'm looking forward to potentially SRO and Ramsey getting their own product.
Yep.
That's a big pipeline dream, but that's something that I think is very achievable for us.
Yeah. The Ramsey acquisition has been really solid for the Dynamic team because it's a well-known kind of global product range that we can lean into in terms of the dynamic weighing. But exactly as you say, that's a great capability in terms of product development that now we have on board that we can look to deploy across a range of our other kind of teams and sectors.
Correct. So the Ramsey products are instruments as well. So it just falls into the category of instrumentation.
Yeah. And, just to wrap up, you've got a young family.
I do.
They keep you busy?
They do. I've got 3 kids under 5. I've got a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So life is busy at home, life is busy at work. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It keeps me busy, keeps me motivated. At first and foremost, I'm a dad first before I'm anything else. And then everything else comes after that. So that's
how do you balance that? I mean, I've got 2 young kids, but they're kind of high school age now. So I'm through that kind of young age. How do you balance that? Because you've got a lot of pressures at work. You've got a lot of kind of travel you need to do. How do you find getting that balance right? Because I'm sure that there are a lot of people in our industry that have exactly that same issue. There's a lot of young families that work in our sector. How do you think about balancing that?
It's hard. Be honest, it's really, really hard. Like it's not easy to balance 3 kids, your family commitments and work commitments. It's really difficult at times, but like anything in life, it's communication. It's what you put your effort into. Sometimes you won't get it right, but most of the time you will. So all I keep saying to all the parents out there, just keep trucking along. Even when things are hard, when you're in the grind, just keep pushing because there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And then the them being so young will be over and you'll miss it. So
Yeah, that's right.
and that's what we try and cherish the most, is try and be grateful for the moments that we have, even though they are tough. One day the kids will be off and doing their own thing like I am now, away from my parents as such.
Yeah. And it's something that I quite enjoy about the team that we've got here at SRO is we've got quite a few young families, right? Like most of the management team have young kids, a lot of the leadership team, and even, I think even yesterday we had another announcement of another newborn. So quite a few young families across the team, which I think is useful because it means that everyone's got that empathy for the situations that we're dealing with. So helps us to work together in managing that dynamic.
Yeah, correct. So like, most of the management are around the 30 age group. So, a lot of us are now around that potential parent age, So we're all got kids. We're all debating in the office how we manage this, how we manage that.
Yeah.
And then we're also talking about work stuff all in between all that. So we're a whole holistic group. We've realized that, work is important, but also our own mental health and family commitments are also important. So that's where the balance is really good at SRO. We've got the balance right.
Yeah.
And obviously one will always take priority over the other, but we always try and make sure that we're working together. We can backfill each other to make sure we get all our commitments focused on our customers.
And like you say,
at home.
it's communication, right?
Yeah.
Like as long as we're talking to each other, then we can get that balance right.
Yeah, that's right. Customer focus and communication, and family focus and communication.
Yeah. Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. It was really good to catch up, and all the best for 2025.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Really hope you enjoyed that episode. It wouldn't have been possible without your support of our pilot series. If you missed any of that, check it out on your favourite podcast platform or visit our website at www.srotechnology.com. And remember, keep measuring up.